American figure skating legend Peggy Fleming has been working hard lately trying to rework a skating competition that she helped to create a few years ago. Of course, due to the pandemic, the 2020 Peggy Fleming Trophy was going to take place online. It's the third annual competition. It'll be streamed on Friday on the U.S. Figure Skating Fan Zone website. Joining us to talk about how all this came together is Peggy Fleming, who now lives right here in Denver. Peggy, it's nice to see you. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
So how does this work? A virtual skating competition sounds tricky to me. I know all sports are trying to figure out how to get it done. What's going to happen on Friday?
Yeah. Well, we are going to do it virtual. This is the first figure skating championship that has been virtual. Our first 2 years were live at the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs, but this year they canceled the World Championships in March, and then the coronavirus was really still climbing, and we had our event in June, and we kind of thought, well, maybe we should start thinking out of the box and see if we can do it virtual. So that's what we're doing. It's really a historic event, and the skaters film themselves at their home rink. Maybe their coach is filming them in a designated spot so everybody's the same. And then they send their video to the technical committee and the judges. And the judges are going to judge it sort of live at the same time. And so it's kind of like a real competition. Well, it is a real competition.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see how it pans out. I was just going to ask you, because I remember 1968, you brought home the only gold medal for the United States in the Winter Olympics. But what would have happened? What can you imagine how your heart would have dealt with a month or a year before the competition, being told, we're going to have to wait a year because of what all these athletes are going through now? You can imagine how difficult it must be.
Yeah, it's devastating for these athletes because you're only this age and in this shape, a few years in your life. And to wait a year is kind of pushing it, but you can do it. But maybe you won't get your peak performance. And then the rising stars are still coming up as well. So, I feel like, the reason why we did this competition is that, I think a lot of people are thinking, figure skating is paying way too much attention to the jumps and the technical side, and the artistry has kind of been pushed aside. So we started this championship so the skater can have a little freedom, and they're only allowed to do 4 jumps, 3 spins, and a step sequence and a signature move. And that gives them the time to really be expressive and skate to the music. All of the performance will be judged from an artistic point of view. And we've been working with the ISU and US Figure Skating to make up the rules and components of everything. And so this could be the future of figure skating competitions, and I don't know for how long, but we want to keep carrying on because the skaters need something to look forward to and still keep their edge competing.
Yeah, hopefully it's also a blueprint for other sports that can fashion something like this and find a way to do it virtually. It's great to have you back in Colorado. For people who don't know, your relationship with the state goes back to before those Olympic Games. The Broadmoor was your home. The Broadmoor is a partner in this as well. Talk about the Broadmoor, what it's meant to you, as well as the state of Colorado.
Well, the Broadmoor is where I trained. They had a skating rink there when I was training. They've now torn it down and moved the arena closer to the freeway. But, the Broadmoor, it changed my life. It changed how I carried myself because it was such a beautiful hotel, and the guests that came there were just so elegant. And I would walk into the arena and go, wow, I got to stand up a little straighter. and then we'd have people watching from the hotel. They could just walk in and watch our practices. So that kind of, made us feel like we had an audience all the time.
Well,
but
so
the training go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's just great to have you back in the state, and we're really looking forward to the Peggy Fleming Trophy tomorrow, streaming on the U.S. Figure Skating Fan Zone website. Peggy, it's always a treat to talk with you. Thanks again for taking the time.
Thank you.
Have a great time tomorrow.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right.
Okay, have a good night.
You too. Kim?